Okay, seeing that we're past the 6 o'clock hour, we'll call this meeting to order. Everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. First, with a moment of silence, being that it was the anniversary of 9/11 this week. Keep that in your memory and anything else that you would like. Roll call.
Sixteen present, 2 absent, with member Jennifer Groves Allison and Steve Ricker.
Next is the approval of the August 10th, 2023 County Board meeting minutes. Is there a motion? Member Williams, Member Blair. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, please vote. Does anyone out there have the option?
I can't.
I'm gonna- Can I have a motion? It doesn't look like these are going to pop up to suspend the rules for just a voice vote and not an actual roll call for the votes tonight. Member Rosenbaum, Member Williams, Member Alsasser. Huh? This will need a roll call vote, though. But if it doesn't pop up, that will at least speed the... She's going to do a roll call.
Member Blair? Member Bryant?
Aye.
Member Coates?
Aye.
Member Daly?
Aye.
Member Dillon?
Aye.
Member Duncan?
Aye.
Member Elsesser?
Aye.
Member Hare? Aye. Member Kelch?
Aye.
Member Phelan?
Aye.
Member Renow?
Aye.
Rosenbaum? Aye. Member Rulin?
Aye.
Member Salzer?
Aye.
Member Williams?
Aye.
Member Windisch?
Aye.
That's 16 ayes.
Motion passes. Now we're back to the minutes that were moved by Member Williams and Member Daley. Blair. Sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Next, we're at proclamations and presentations. A proclamation recognizing Dean Troutman on his completion of a 350-mile walk to raise funds for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Congratulations and welcome, Mr. Troutman.
Well, this is a true privilege for me tonight to have Dean Troutman, young Dean Troutman. What are you, about 75 or so?
Yeah, about 25 years ago.
93, I think, so. And his son, Jeff Troutman, who's the mayor of Princeville. And I want to say that the village of Princeville and the Princeville community is a better place because of Dean Troutman. He's raised money and donated land to make the Troutman Park, which is just an amazing asset and resource for the people and the children of Princeville. And obviously, when we read the proclamation, you'll be able to see that he's raised a lot of money for St. Jude and helped out a lot of young children who are battling for their lives. And thank you so much for doing this. And I also think this person, Dean, you should be the poster child for our country for health and fitness. I don't think you spent too much time watching TV and eating potato chips, do you? No potato chips at all, so that's the key. So thank you so much, and God bless you for all you do. And now I'll read this proclamation. Whereas Peoria County congratulates Dean Troutman on completing a 350-mile walk. Man, that makes me tired just to think about that. His fifth track to raise money for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And whereas beginning on Sunday, May 21st, 2023, the Troutman track started in Princeville, Illinois to Monroe, Wisconsin, and back to Princeville, finishing on Tuesday, July 4th. And whereas the fundraising goal of $20,000 was met, Troutman raised money along his journey through donations and exceeded the goal by the time he finished his walk. And whereas the Troutman track started in 2014 to raise money for Troutman Park in memory of his late wife, raising $70,000 in donations when he was 84 years old. And whereas Troutman continued on his journey the following year, raising $10,000 on a 500-mile trip from Princeville to the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. Whereas Troutman keeps moving by knowing the financial burden that is being alleviated from families, and inspiration to the extent that even after this most recent 350-mile walk at the age of 93, he plans to take the remaining half of the year to rest before deciding to whether he's going to do another trek in 2024. Well, it takes me a while just to rest up from walking a mile or so. Whereas Peoria County recognizes the dedication and passion Troutman has for St. Jude to advance cures and means of prevention for pediatric catastrophic diseases through research and treatment. Now, therefore, I, James C. Dillon, Chairman of the Peoria County Board, on behalf of the County Board, do hereby recognize Dean Troutman for his most recent 350-mile accomplishment and for his continued success in fundraising, dated this 14th day of September. James Dillon, County Board Chairman, and Rachel Parker, Peoria County Clerk.
I don't have much to say. I do my walking, and that's about all I do. But I want to thank everybody for being here, and especially this county board for giving me this proclamation. It means a lot. Maybe next year we'll do it again.
Isn't there an old saying, you're going to let your walking do the talking?
Next up, a proclamation recognizing September 2023 as Hunger Action Month.
Hello, welcome. So this is Rebecca Crumrine and Shanita Wallace, and they're with the Partnership for a Healthy Community. Whereas hunger and poverty are issues that are vital in Illinois, where 10% of people face hunger in Illinois and 1 in every 8 children do not know where their next meal is coming from, which says a lot. Whereas the Partnership for a Healthy Community of Peoria County, Woodford County, and Tazewell County is committed to working with Food Pantry Network, HOI, including Midwest Food Bank and Peoria Area Food Bank, the latter a member of Feeding America nationwide network of food banks, and educating people about the role and importance of food banks in addressing hunger and raising awareness of the need to devote more resources and attention to hunger issues. And whereas Midwest Food Bank and Peoria Area Food Bank distributed more than 3 million meals to 43,000 individuals in Peoria County in 2022 through this network of food pantries, soup kitchens, shelters, and other community organizations. And whereas the month of September has been designated Hunger Action Month in order to bring attention to food insecurities in our communities and to enlist the public in a movement to end hunger by taking action, including volunteering shifts, social media shares, and donations to ensure every community and everybody in it has the food that they need to thrive. And whereas food banks across the country, including the members of the Food Pantry Network, HOI, will host numerous events throughout the month of September to bring awareness and help end hunger in their local communities. Therefore, I, James C. Dillon, Chairperson of the Peoria County Board, on behalf of the Peoria County Board, do hereby recognize September 2023 as Hunger Action Month in Peoria County, Illinois, and call this observance to attention to our citizens. Dated this 14th day of September, AD 2023, James C. Dillon, Chairperson of the Peoria County Board, and Rachel Parker, Peoria County Clerk. And if you'd like to say a few words.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you so much for having us here tonight. It is striking when you hear some of those numbers, that we live in the time that we do, and we still know that 10% of all people and 1 in 8 children don't know where their next meal is coming from. So how can we get involved? Shanita and I are here because we co-chair the Healthy Eating Active Living team, and we have some different events that are planned throughout the month of September. You may not have known it, but September 1st, we did have the Bridge Orange. So we did that for the first time, lighting the Bridge Orange in honor of Hunger Action Month. Tomorrow is Hunger Action Day, and you can wear orange to show awareness. But 2 of our big events are still coming up. So this Saturday, we are hosting at all the Krogers across Peoria, Tazewell, and Fulton counties a food drive, a Nourish Your Neighbor food drive. So if you end up going to Kroger's between 10 and 2, you can have a chance to purchase some items and give to a pantry on site. And those items will go back with that local pantry to feed the residents here in Peoria County if you're in Peoria, Kroger's. And then on the 30th of September, we have our Tri-County Hunger Walk. So we are trying to have the community come around and rally around the idea of raising awareness to the hunger that exists in our neighborhoods, as well as give them a chance to donate again. So you can do both. You can bring, while you're at Kroger's, purchase a few items to also bring to the 30th if you'd like, because that is all that you need to come. Just bring 1 shelf-stable food item, and we have a list of items that we are suggesting as preferred items for you to bring to really increase that health and wellness of our neighbors. So yeah, thank you. She's got it all.
Oh, but thank you for all the work you do. I know if our regional superintendent were here, she's told us. Oh, did she? Okay, but she's told us many times how hungry kids, you can't learn when you're hungry and you're worrying about where your next meal comes from. So thank you for all that you do for our community.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Next up, a proclamation recognizing September 23 as National Preparedness Month.
I'll go ahead and get started here. So We are recognizing, obviously, National Preparedness Month. So this proclamation reads as, whereas National Preparedness Month creates an important opportunity for every resident of Peoria County to prepare their homes, businesses, and communities for any type of emergency, including natural disasters and potential terrorist attacks. And whereas investing in the preparedness of ourselves, our families, businesses, and communities can reduce fatalities and economic devastation in our communities and in our nation. And whereas the Federal Emergency Management Agency's Ready campaign and other federal, state, local, tribal, territorial, private, and volunteer agencies are working to increase public activities in preparing for emergencies and to educate individuals on how to take action. And whereas emergency preparedness is the responsibility of every citizen of Peoria County, and all citizens are urged to make preparedness a priority and work together as a team to ensure that individuals, families, and communities are prepared for disasters and emergencies of any type. Now therefore, I, James C. Dillon, Chairperson of the Peoria County Board, on behalf of the Peoria County Board, do hereby proclaim September 2023 as National Preparedness Month and encourage all citizens to develop their own emergency preparedness plan and work together toward creating a more prepared society. Dated this 14th day of September AD 2023, James C. Dillon, Peoria County Chairman. Rachel Parker, Peoria County Clerk. Congratulations. There you go. Thank you. Introduce yourself to everyone.
Thank you. I'm Director of Emergency Management and Preparedness here at Peoria County. My name is Jason Marks. I just want to thank again the board for recognizing September Preparedness Month. Scott and my colleagues throughout the room. It takes a whole community to prepare ourselves, and we had a meeting today and we talked about that. And so I have a lot of support from a lot of great partners, leadership positions throughout the county. So I appreciate all of their willingness to assist. And without them, we wouldn't be able to do our work at EMA. So thank you.
Congratulations.
Yep.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. See you.
Again, thank you.
Next up, a proclamation recognizing the clubs of River City on their 50th anniversary.
Oh, thank you. This is another privilege for me. We have Shelley and Dan O'Connell, who are business owners of their own business, their own health club, River City Health Club in Pioneer Park. And if it's okay, I'm going to put a little plug in. I've been there for 14 years, and it's an absolutely great place to work out. And the people there are just wonderful, and that's what makes it even more special. And so, congratulations to you guys.
Thank you.
Whereas Peoria County recognizes the clubs at River City during their 50th anniversary and applauds their role in the history of the local area. And whereas the clubs at River City were founded by Lee O'Connell after he moved to Peoria from Chicago in 1954. He fell in love with the area while playing basketball at Bradley University and returned to the area after the Korean War to transform 4 tennis courts into the thriving fitness center we know today, notably still managed by the O'Connell family. And whereas the clubs at River City have significance well beyond Peoria County, such as introducing the first senior fitness classes in the United States, being the first freestanding youth fitness center in the United States, initiating cardiac rehabilitation and physical therapy programs with hospitals, and supporting local fundraisers or charities throughout the past half century. And whereas the clubs at River City continue their mission of supporting individual community members through increasing energy, improving health, boosting happiness, building strength, finding inspiration, and enhancing overall quality of life. And whereas Peoria County looks forward to the continued success of the clubs at River City another 50 years and beyond. Now, therefore, I, James C. Dillon, Chairman of the Peoria County Board, on behalf of the County Board, do hereby recognize and congratulate the clubs at River City for their extensive contributions to our community during their 50th anniversary celebration dated this 14th day of September 2023. James Dillon, Peoria County Board Chairman, and Rachel Parker, Peoria County Clerk.
You are one of our favorite members, by the way. Thank you for having us, and this means a lot. And we want to thank the community for 50 great years of support, and we're hoping to have another 50 more. We already have the third generation working in the business, so it's a possibility.
That's great to have people that are own their own business because, you know, that's always been very special to me. I always look out for the small business people. Thank you.
Next up, a proclamation recognizing September 18th through the 24th, 2023 as National Rail Safety Week.
I gotta take the mic. I need that mic. This is Karen Dvorsky, and she is from the Illinois Department of Transportation. And I've got a lot of respect for her because she is with one of the best departments I think we've got in the state. And I served with her on PUATS, which was a really good investment for us, but because the county, and I think we just last month adopted a resolution to pay our dues and so forth. But my association with the Illinois Department of Transportation goes back to 1956. I said 56, and in the last century. And I started working there my senior year in high school on construction. And what I found out about our Illinois Department of Transportation, they are very, very professional. They're engineers that do good work, and they see to it that the contractors are ones that follow their advice, and they, of course, eliminate the mistakes on the job. Anyway, this is the Rail Safety Week, and reading this to you, whereas rail transportation is an essential part of the U.S. and Illinois economies, with Illinois having the second highest total rail miles in the United States at 6,883 miles, on which more than 200 million tons of freight is moved yearly. And whereas throughout 2022, there were 2,194 rail grade crossing collisions in the United States, which resulted in 803 personal injuries and 274 fatalities. And whereas in the same time frame, there was also 658 pedestrians killed and another 550 injured while trespassing on railroad property right-of-ways in the United States. And whereas Peoria County has an active rail system with 6 railroad operators running a total of 80 to 85 trains per day. And whereas in Peoria County, there are 307 grade crossings, 183 of which are on public roadways. And whereas Operation Lifesaver brings together railroad operators, law enforcement agencies, and all levels of government to jointly educate and inform the public about rail safety, remind the public that railroad right-of-ways are private property, and enhance public awareness of the dangers associated with highway rail grade crossings in order to reduce the number of fatalities and injuries. And whereas since 2014, Peoria County Highway and local governments have applied for and received $1.3 million in railway safety improvement grants administered by the Illinois Department of Transportation, as well as $2.9 in funds from the Illinois Commerce Commission for the same purpose. And whereas an additional 9 projects in Peoria County have been selected by the Illinois Commerce Commission's 2024 to 2028 Crossing Safety Improvement Plan, and IDOT's local rail highway grade crossing safety program, which combined with will bring in approximately $2.67 million for railway safety improvements in our county. Now, therefore, I, James C. Dillon, Chairman of the Peoria County Board, on behalf of the County Board, do hereby attest our support in proclaiming September the 18th through the 24th, 2023, National Rail Safety Week, dated this 14th day of September, AD 2023. James C. Dillon, Peoria County Board Chairman, Rachel Parker, Peoria County Clerk.
Thank you. You stole most of my thunder. I spent a few minutes before I got here memorizing all these statistics about rail grade crossings, and you just said them all for me. but that's okay. The sobering statistic is that there were a lot of fatalities due to collisions at public railroad grade crossings in 2022. So we appreciate the county being a partner with us on trying to minimize, and reduce those this year and all the years moving forwards. So thank you.
And thank you to Gretchen, Nick, and Jan for all their hard work for the proclamations. We do appreciate it, for the nice recognitions and nice work you do. And welcome to the treasurer and the sheriff. And there's many joys of being chairman, but one of the joys is when you get to recognize board members or employees for anniversary dates. So it is an anniversary date. Yes, I'm looking at you, Mr. Little. 10 years. I feel like it's when everybody cringes and says, hope it's not me. But Mark's been here 10 years. It seems like I've been on this board 18 years. Seems pretty quick that you've been here 10 years. And technology-wise, when you do talk to other county chairmen and other things, Peoria County is light years ahead in the technology that we have in different departments. And that is a big statement for Mr. Little and his team. So, Mark?
I didn't prepare anything. Thank you. It has been a quick 10 years. I've been in IT in Peoria County now 30 years, and 10 of them have been here, so it's been my longest I've been anywhere. I've been in the healthcare side of things and then local government. And I will just say, yes, I do think we have one of the greatest teams in the state from an IT site, and it's from the staff. It all goes back to them. They're the one that executes everything, so they're the one who deserves all the credit. So,
Well, thanks, Mark.
Yep. Thank you.
Next up is citizens' remarks. We have 3 of them. So each one will get 5 minutes, and there'll be a timer on the board. Just want to remind all speakers to keep it clean and no disparaging remarks. First up is Kimberly Strack for the CO2 pipeline.
I'm just here today to have the board accept the moratorium to put a pause on the CO2 pipeline so that we can put more safety protocols in place, hopefully, and to keep our neighborhoods safe. I live next to a house that it'll be going right through their property, and right behind us, they'll be going through their property as well, is what they've proposed. This pause on it, the moratorium, will keep us possibly safer if they can put some more safety protocols on the pipeline. And if you look up a place called Satarsha, Mississippi, you'll see what could potentially happen to a neighborhood if we allow this CO2 pipeline to come into play, to be put in. Thank you.
Next up is Laura Hendrickson to speak about animal control.
Hi, everyone. This is the first time I've ever been here. It's not new to me. I've been in the animal rights activist business for 42 years, longer than some people here have been alive. Governor Rauner passed a law in 2017, which was updated in 2019, to protect feral cats because the cost of putting them down and collecting them and putting them down was just exorbitant. It was more moral, and it was economically better just to fix them and let them go. So that law is still in effect. And in September of 2021, animal control came to my house because I have a feral cat colony, which I was fixing. Some were not old enough, and at the cost of food, about $200 a month to myself. I'm on Social Security, so that isn't easy, but I'm certainly willing to do it. I've seen so many problems. I've written laws at Kansas City, Missouri, that passed the council that changed the course of animal abuse and child abuse in the court system. So I'm not a beginner here. And after, anyway, September 21, animal control showed up at my house and told me that I had to have the cats fixed. That was fine, and she was going to help. So they gathered up the animals. They spayed and neutered and brought them back to my house, which in my opinion is permission to have them. The only problem is Miss Spencer was unaware, I guess, that there's certain paperwork that was supposed to be done that was not. And I was totally unaware that it was supposed to be done that way. But I was harassed and harangued by animal control in July of 2022 and 2023. I keep getting notices from this lady, and she's the one that gave me permission to have them. The week of August 1st of this year, she confiscated the entire colony, including one of my cats that is my legally registered animal without due process. I think somebody's got that in the Constitution, maybe. But anyway, refused to return them because the neighbors complained and the neighbors paid her to do it. So what she did was get paid to break the law. So I have no idea where those animals are at this point. And as far as I'm concerned, when I went to the meeting at West Peoria where I live, I was told that they called down here and, oh, we're complying. They're not complying if they're picking up the animals. So I can do one of two things. I can give somebody my number and we can get this all straightened out, which I asked Miss Spencer, who's head of animal control. I gave her 3 chances. I'm willing to work with you. Just return the animals. And she said, no, your neighbors are complaining. But the state law requires you give them back. So, like I said, I can go ahead and sue you in federal court because it's my understanding, you might know more about this than I do, the circuit court cannot sit in judgment of the county. Therefore, it's my understanding I have to go to federal court. I intend to go ahead and file next week if we can't get this straightened out. And maybe you can give some lessons to Ms. Spencer of what the law is. My second request would be, and at least suggestion, is that we would set up an advisory committee, which I sat on in Kansas City, Missouri for several years, an advisory board, and to oversee animal control because they're not complying with a whole lot of things. And we don't have time to go into that. So I'd be happy to chair that on a volunteer basis. And if somebody wants to get back to me, I've given my number. I would be happy to talk to anybody about doing it for free. Thank you.
Next up is Paul Trainer with a culvert issue.
My name is Paul Trainer. I reside in Kickapoo Township at 10200 West Hawk Hill Trail. I'm in a dispute with the road commissioner of that township, Dan Kelch, in regards to him giving me verbal authorization to do culvert work in front of my house. I met with Dan in my front yard, told him the issue I had with the culvert that I had. I wanted to replace my driveway, wanted the culvert under my driveway replaced. He made the remark, everything from the back slope of the ditch towards the road is our right of way. Everything else is your responsibility. I proposed what I wanted to do with the culvert to redirect it to the other side of my house because I do underground and utility work for 25 years. I know more about it than most anybody that I know. He said, sounds like you know what you're doing. All I ask is that you come to the township to get a permit, to fill out a permit. The township's open between 1 and 4 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I said, Dan, with my work schedule, working construction, I don't know if I'll be able to get in right away. He said, that's fine. Just come in and fill out the permit when you bring me the receipts for the material you used. That's what I did. Did the work, did all the work, tried to contact him as far as him coming out, taking a look at it, approving it before I covered it up with dirt. He is hard to get hold of, won't answer his phone. He's been on his phone the whole time we've been here while everybody's been talking, but he won't answer his phone.
Mr. Trainer, just make sure no disparaging remarks.
Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, so I went ahead and covered the pipe up, got dirt on the neighbor's yard. He complained. Dan came out, gave me a certified letter saying I needed to tear the whole thing out. It wasn't what we discussed. Need to tear it all out. He made a remark after the fact that he would be fine with it, but the Peoria County Highway Department would not. So I called Mark Gillis. He is the head of the Peoria County Highway Department. He's the supervisor. He was professional. He came out, said, I see everything you did. I don't have a problem with it all. And I've got a recording that I would like to play of Mark's view of the situation.
Mr. Trainer, that's not allowable underneath the...
I can't play a recording. In regards to the issue, it shines light on the whole thing. I'm sure everybody would be interested to know what Mark has to say about the whole situation.
This is a township issue. This was not a county issue.
It is a county issue.
This is a Kickapoo Township, and we're not here to engage in a debate, but this was a Kickapoo Township issue, not a county issue, and Mr. Gillis was not supposed to be involved in a township issue.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Everybody has got the recording. I emailed it to all the board members, so you can listen to it at your own discretion. But it basically talks about Mark Gillis and Dan Kelch moving money, cooking the books, doing all kinds of illegal financial movements within the township and the county. I'm sure everybody within the county and the township would really be interested to know what that's in regards to and do an investigation on it, which will be done by me and the state's attorney. Furthermore, in conclusion, I want to know why within the township and the Peoria County, I have counted over 176 plastic ADS pipe, just like the one that I put in, that Dan has an issue with, that he wants me to remove. Why does everybody else get to keep their plastic culvert pipe and I am being singled out? I feel like it's a complete abuse of power by him that he's singling me out to make me remove what he gave me the verbal authorization to do in the first place. I do this for a living. I know permits need to be taken care of initially, things like that. I understand that. I know I need to talk to the road commissioner before I do any work. I did that. I talked to him. He gave me the verbal authorization to do it, said the permit wasn't an issue. Now it is. Now I'm being asked to rip it out, and I think it's an abuse of power. I just want a resolution to it. I want answers why everybody else is able to have that type of culvert pipe and all this stuff, and I am not. Thank you for your time.
Next is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve? Mr. Salzer, Ms. Daly. Is there anything that would like to be removed? Ooh, this might be a first. Seeing none, before anybody wants to remove anything. Any questions or comments about the agenda? Consent agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Ayes have it.
Item 1, case number ZBA-2023-0030, petition of Ronald Porter and Sue Graves, a rezoning request from R-2 medium-density residential to R-R rural residential. The petitioner proposes to rezone 1.467 acres in order to combine a portion with the property to the east. The parcel is located in Hollis Township. The Zoning Board of Appeals recommended approval, pending committee approval.
Is there a motion? Mr. Rosenbaum. Ms. Daly. Any questions? Seeing none, please vote. All those in favor? Oh, yes, I did. Rosenbaum and Daly. Sorry, I'm used to. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it.
Item number 2, case number ZBA-2023-0033, petition of Teresa M. Holzhauser. A special use is required in section 20-6.2.1.1.b of the Unified Development Ordinance. The section allows for a special use when a proposed land split does not meet the 40-acre minimum lot size in the A-1 Agriculture Preservation District. The petitioner proposes to divide an existing 17.956 area tract into 3 tracts consisting of 5 acres, 5 acres, and 7.956 acres. The parcel is located in Radnor Township. The Zoning Board of Appeals recommended approval.
Is there a motion? Mr. Rosenbaum? Ms. Blair? Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it.
Item number 3, case number ZBA-2023-0035, petition of Peoria County, a text amendment to amend Chapter 20, Article 5, Article 6, Article 7, and Article 11 of the Peoria County Code. The Zoning Board of Appeals recommends approval.
Mr. Rosenbaum? Mr. Elsesser? Any questions or comments? Mr. Rosenbaum?
This amendment is for battery storage for like solar farms, or any time that the grid is bringing electricity to store it for during peak production to be used at other times. So we were just cleaning up the language and making it so this is coming down the pike, so we'd have the rules ahead of time.
And if you'd like to see a presentation, maybe put the presentation in the weekly update for the slide deck that was given by staff. That was very good. Any questions? Staff is here to ask questions if you would like. I mean, we got Adam here tonight and everything and no questions. All right, seeing none. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it.
16 ayes. Item number 4, a resolution from your Land Use Committee recommending adoption of the 2023 Peoria County Jurisdictional Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Is there a motion? Member Rosenbaum, Member Duncan. Is there any questions? And we do have Rima with staff here from Tri-County to answer any questions. Member Rosenbaum.
Probably should let Rima say it better so everybody can understand. So I'll just turn it over to her then.
All right, yeah, I'm happy to do it. So my name is Rima. I'm from the Tri-County Regional Planning Commission. So what this document is, it represents Peoria County, and it is aimed to identify, assess, and mitigate hazard risk to better protect the people and property within the county. We did just hear the National Preparedness Month proclamation earlier, so this is a good follow-up. This represents both natural and man-made hazards. This is a document that we update every 5 years. Tri-County helped receive the funding to do this process, and we had a couple consultants work on this. One of the key aspects of it is if this is passed today, it will continue the community rating system program, and this is a voluntary incentive program that recognizes and encourages community floodplain management practices. So that's a strong program that the county has. This whole document is nearly 450 pages, so it's very large, but it is accessible on our Tri-County website. And I'll stop there, but I'm happy to answer questions.
Any questions? Thank you, Rima. Appreciate you taking the time. Seeing no questions. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it.
16 ayes. Item number 5, a resolution from your Infrastructure Committee recommending approval and authorization of financial commitment to the Safe Routes to Schools Grant Program.
Member Salzer, Member Williams.
Mr. Chairman, we had a special meeting tonight, and our highway department engineer, Amy, she asked us to grant her basically permission so that we could proceed with this possible receiving a grant from the state in regard to providing safety rules pertaining to, sidewalk crossings and just a combination of different things that our schools need. And this is in the Limestone area. What was it, District 68 or 78? I can't remember what district that was out there, but it included 3 different schools. The Oak Grove West, it included Limestone High School, and it included Monroe. And so we granted her permission, and that they're going to proceed with this attempt to get a grant and make it safer for students in that region to, of course, attend school.
Any questions? Thank you, Coach. Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Technology is wonderful, but this is moving really quickly.
16 ayes. Item number 6, a resolution from your Infrastructure Committee recommending approval of a contract from brokerage services with NAI Barman Southfield, Michigan to represent Peoria County in the auction of 1 Technology Plaza, 211 Fulton Street, Peoria.
Member Salzer, Member Kelch. Administrator Sorrell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So just to summarize the item for board members, back in the late 90s, this body voted to invest in the construction of 1 Technology Plaza. That's on the same block where the Bergner's building used to be. That investment resulted in the county owning, and still to today owns, 7,523 square feet in the building. The rest of the building is under other ownership, one owner. In 2012, that owner refinanced their debt, and last year, the financial institution that held that debt foreclosed. So it went through a foreclosure process, which is a court process here in the circuit court. When that happened, the real estate agent, which is who we're recommending that we contract with tonight, was retained by the financial institution to work through that process, and then coming out of it to auction the building. They approached us earlier this year and said, we're going to be taking the building to auction, at least all of the building except your 7,500 square feet. Would you be interested in joining in that? After several conversations with them, and including Chairman Dillon in a couple of those, we reached an agreement whereby we could participate pending approval of this agenda item, but also be kept separate so that we retain maximum flexibility and our rights. That way, should the auction price be to our satisfaction, we can execute that. Should it not be to our satisfaction, we will hold and continue to be owners of the space. Currently, we have a lease from the state of Illinois. It's occupied by the Department of Human Services for that. They're in, I believe, year 3 of a 10-year lease. It's actually 2 consecutive 5-year leases. So we're in year 3 of the first 5-year lease. And so obviously it's revenue and income generating. But over the course of time, we've generated a substantial amount of revenue from lease income, but we've also had to pay the other building owner for a variety of expenses. For example, that 7,500 square feet is literally office space, so there are costs for what are called common area maintenance because the building is set up as a condominium. So that includes, maintenance of the public spaces, the restrooms, the elevators, and property taxes that are assessed for those common areas. All in all, our net over the last 20 plus, almost 25 years, is several $100,000 to the good. We did discuss in closed session at the Infrastructure Committee what some parameters would be for Chairman Dillon and I when it comes to the auction. I'm happy to discuss that with any of you one-on-one, but obviously we don't want to talk about that in an open session as the auction is yet to occur. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Member Alsasser.
Is there going to be a price reservation for the sale? I mean, as far as, if it doesn't bring enough that it won't sell, and then Is it gonna be, so it's gonna be sold completely as one unit, and then whatever funds will be appropriated out to us from that total figure? Is that right, or is that not right?
So the entire building minus our 7,500 square feet is going to be sold at auction. It's highly likely that it will be someone from outside of our community that buys it, most likely for tax sheltering purposes. If the board approves the resolution that's on the floor right now, we will be included in the auction. And then when the auction date comes, we'll have the flexibility and the option based on the price for our 7,500 square feet as to whether or not we want to say, yes, we'll sell it, or no, that's not enough for us. And like I said, I'm happy to talk to any of you individually to let you know kind of what the parameters that were discussed in the infrastructure committee are.
Well, is it going to be is there going to be a reserve from the larger group of people that are selling it, or I mean, I don't want to know the price, but
so I believe the bank has set a reserve for their portion of the building. I don't know what it is.
no, I don't want to talk about that in open session. But how was it determined that we selected this brokerage service?
We did not select them, they selected us because they are the ones hired by the bank for the rest of the building.
Oh,
So,
okay. But did I read in there that they are also to work with some of our local realtors, if that would be feasible, or is that not accurate?
so in this instance, we are hiring them to represent us in the auction process, the same way they're representing the bank. If the auction price is unacceptable to us and we hold, we can always either work directly with the new owner, or we can work through a local commercial realtor to try and sell our space.
And Brian, so when we're talking about tax shelters, so everybody understands that here. So what you're talking about, this national firm, they have offices all across the country. This will go at a national. So you have firms in New York, California that sell property, and if they have to reinvest it into other properties so that there's a tax liability for them. In the Midwest, in towns like Peoria, and it was deemed that this is probably the most attractive office building in downtown Peoria from standpoint of upgrades and just general conditions, that more than likely it would be an out-of-state firm that would buy this for rental purposes.
I probably missed it here, but after we invested the $987,000, do we still owe money? So we're down to zero. That's good.
So the county board in the late 90s paid cash for that, and then they also paid cash for the $232,585,000 to build out the 7,500 square feet that we own. So that's roughly $1.2 million of outlay. As I was explaining earlier, based on lease income that we've received since then, and taking into account what we've had to pay out in common area maintenance, we're still a couple $100,000 ahead. So we've received a substantial amount of revenue over the last 25-ish years, even when you account for the amount that we've had to pay out.
So is there a possibility that the bank, might sell the larger percentage of the building, and that we still might own ours? Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
16 ayes.
Next is miscellaneous and announcements. We'll start on Member Ruland's side tonight. Member Blair.
Last week at Bradley, the Turner Center for Entrepreneurship held their Small Business Awards. Lifting Up LLC, who we are working with for their to use their Smart Start dashboard, at startabusinessgp.org, won the Small Business Advocate of the Year, and we just wanted to congratulate them.
Thank you. Thank you, Member Blair. And then lastly, I did give a proclamation this week, but not here. The Irish delegation from Clonmel is in town with the current mayor and past mayors. And there was a little celebration at the city and at Jimmy's Bar yesterday. So a proclamation recognizing 25 years of the twinning of the two towns was given. So the county was represented in a proclamation. Anything else? Member Elsesser.
I didn't see you go by, but I just want to thank Santa Claus again. Really do appreciate that. Okay. Well, we'll thank him then.
Administrator Sorrell.
Just for board members' benefit, recommended budget books are out. Everybody should have a binder. If you want to follow along electronically on your iPads, you can hit the little home button in Good Reader up in the top left-hand corner. Select the other folder, and you'll see a 2024 recommended budget folder where you'll find the document. Committees will have their budget meetings in regular business at the end of the month as usual. Myself and the finance team are more than happy to sit down with any one of you and answer any and all of your questions leading up to those committee meetings.
And a big thank you to Member Williams. I know she sat in all those meetings, and Ms. McCord and her team for all the hard work, and all the staff and electeds that got everything in that here we are going to be in October again. So very good, very professional, and appreciate everybody's work that was in it. And same to you, Mr. Bruner. I know you have one of the largest budgets out there too, so thank you. Anything else? Member Daley.
Well, I'm already thinking about our Christmas potluck, and so I wanted to make a plea that whoever took my giant bowl last year, bring it back to me. Somebody, I gave the leftovers to somebody, and I don't remember who it was, but if I don't get the bowl back, there will be no salad.
I believe, Brian, weren't you taking baggies out last year?
It's silver, and it's big enough to feed 30 people. Well, maybe you could just check.
Anything else? Meeting adjourned.